So in this election season, there's going to be a lot of news stories coming out. And because of that, I wanted to refresh everyone's memories as to who you're getting your news from. I'm not sure if how many people have seen this. The first time I saw a clip like this, I think it was Conan O'Brien that did it. And I thought it was just so funny and scary at the same time. So let's play this and see what happens.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley community.
Now, for those in the Utah and Southern Idaho area, these people might be recognizable, especially this guy. He's been at 2 News for quite some, I thought it was Channel 5. He was with KSL, I'm pretty sure. Maybe he's moved. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he was a reporter for KSL for quite a while. Anyway, I recognize him from when I was a kid.
The El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about
Now, I want to stop here for just a second. I see ABC, I see Fox News, I see CBS. I'm sure I will see NBC as well as we go through the video. You can watch for that as well.
One-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media publish things that simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people say. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Well, there's NBC. I agree with these people. It is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Yeah, it's extremely dangerous to our democracy that we're having all of our major news channels for the legacy media reading the exact same script. So if they're reading that script exactly the same, how many scripts are they reading exactly the same? How many stories are they reading exactly the same? And are you getting a non-biased story then? When one news channel, you think it leans left, and another news channel, oh, you think it leans right. But all of those news channels, they were reading the exact same story. And if they're reading the exact same story, maybe they're getting their right-leaning and left-leaning stories from the exact same source. So in other words, you are being fed, you're being programmed by them to think or to receive the information that they give you. And we're all basically just computers. So when they have their programming, which is what news programs are called, news programming, when they send that programming toward us and program us a certain way, we're just like computers. once you program a computer a certain way, the computer will function exactly how you programmed it to. Now, we do have agency, thankfully, and we can choose to believe in the programming or not believe in the programming. But if we don't know that we're being fed that programming, it becomes a lot more difficult to not believe it. How many people believed that there was yellow cake uranium in Iraq when the one guy with the glasses that was supposed to be so honest. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, Bush's head of Secretary of State, head of the Joint Chief of Staffs, I think it was, he got up in front of Congress with a little Ziploc bag full of yellow powder and said, "There's yellow cake uranium, and Iraq's got tons of it, and weapons of mass destruction, and we've got to go in and we got to save the world from the yellow cake uranium and the weapons of mass destruction." After we went in and after we didn't find all of the weapons of mass destruction that they had said that they had, they definitely did have weapons. And some of the weapons were potentially dangerous, but not at the levels that we were told about. Or what about the first time we went to Iraq? When there was tearful testimony saying the Iraqis, when they invaded Kuwait, they were throwing babies out of incubators. Didn't ever happen. And that person that was tearfully saying that, they actually were the daughter of the Iraqi ambassador, I think it was. Something like that. Really shady. And also, before Saddam Hussein invaded Iraq, he asked Bush if it was okay if he invaded Iraq. And Bush said, yeah, that's fine. So how much of our history, recent history, can we believe? Especially when we have news media that is feeding us lies or half-truths. So it's been, 3 weeks since Trump was almost assassinated. What are you hearing about that now? Are you hearing anything about the assassination attempt on him? I've covered it a couple times because I find it interesting, and I also think it's still very newsworthy because he was almost killed on national TV. That would have been a scar upon our nation. But our current news media, they've kind of just shoved it all under the rug because other stories are more important. I think the Kamala Harris campaign is important to cover as well, and that's why I'm also following that. But if you're getting all of your news media from the legacy media, you need to turn it off. And you need to go to something more like social media to get a better understanding of what's going on. And that's why most of my news I get from places like ground.news. Let me pull that up, actually. I'll show you. I can do that thing. Just a second. Ground.news. Okay, so I'm not paid by ground.news. I wouldn't mind being paid by them. But here is ground.news. Really a pretty cool news site. You can see right here, that actually shows how much the left or the right is covering certain news stories. So over here, it's covered a little bit more by the left, a little bit more by the right, more center, slightly right-leaning for this one. And this one is very, very central. And Oh, Pennsylvania. There was another one where RFK was being challenged in New York. So yeah, if you're looking for news, hopefully you can come to me and I can provide some news to you. Or if you want a few more news stories, I don't cover as many news stories as I probably should in the day. But if you want to go online and find some news stories, I would say ground.news is a great source to find a whole bunch of different stories. And you can actually see the bias of the publication for the story that you're getting. And if you click on a specific story, you can see the bias comparison, and you can look at the different groups that are sharing the stories, sharing that story. It's a really cool site. I really like it. Oh, and you can even see the bias distribution. So yeah, that's what I've got for you on this one. Don't listen to the legacy media, or if you do, realize that you're being programmed, that they're giving you the news that they want you to have, whether it's true or not. And then or come to me. And if you want to share this with other family or friends that you know, I'm happy to share news with everybody around. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Thanks.